This is Sunday night. Nearly everything about the disappearance of Helen Munnings doesn't make sense. The young mum had just announced to her boyfriend, Adam Taylor, that she was pregnant again. She was overjoyed, and why wouldn't she be? But then, after a drive in the country with Taylor, she vanished. So what does Taylor know about Helen's disappearance? Well, tonight, Alex Cullen asks him the questions her family has been agonising over for the past 10 years.
On the day Helen Munnings disappeared, her boyfriend did something very strange. It was the middle of a Tasmanian winter, but despite the bitter cold, Adam Taylor, dressed in shorts, set out into the dark of the Bass Strait. What was he doing? And where was Helen? Questions police have been asking ever since the 20-year-old vanished from the face of the earth. Questions perhaps only Adam Taylor can answer.
You were the last person to see her alive?
Well, I believe so, yes.
Right.
Adam Taylor was the last known person to see Helen alive. There's no way I can do this.
There's no way you can do this?
No.
Okay.
It's a tragedy that has ripped a family apart.
It's okay, Carol.
And what's the saddest part about it is that we didn't just lose Helen, like, I lost, like, Mum as well. Like, she's absolutely destroyed by it.
And a case that raises serious questions about the police investigation.
The van not being forensically tested, the house not being searched for more than a year, the scratches not being photographed, they would suggest that this was a fairly botched investigation from the start. Would you agree?
No, I wouldn't.
It's almost 10 years to the day since Helen Munnings disappeared without a trace from Burnie on Tasmania's northwest coast. This used to be a thriving community, but these days the remnants of the once mighty pulp and paper mill stand abandoned on the outskirts of town.
And it was in the shadow of the old mill that Adam Taylor says he dropped Helen off that night after taking her on a drive up into the bush behind the town. He says she wanted to get out and go for a walk along this beach. But it's a strange place to leave a young woman alone at night. It was cold, it was dark, and Helen was only lightly dressed. And there's something else. Helen was pregnant, claiming that the father of the child was Adam Taylor.
Do you understand you're still a suspect?
Well, everyone, I know all of that, yes.
Yeah. Does that concern you?
Well, of course it does.
Well, I've got to ask you, Adam, did you kill Helen Munnings?
Of course not.
You have nothing to do with her death?
No. It upsets me that people keep asking and carry on about it. So.
Adam Taylor may wish everyone would just forget about Helen's death, but Helen's mother, Carol, is determined to make sure that doesn't happen.
You're not mincing words there, Carol.
No. We want people to remember and know that Helen's been murdered.
Shall we go in?
Yes, yep.
Carol's fight for justice for her daughter now consumes every waking hour. Somewhere in these files, she hopes, the clue that unmasks the killer.
That's her there?
Yeah, that's Helen's first birthday.
Oh, wow.
Helen Munnings grew up in Burnie alongside brother Mark and sisters Catherine and Linda.
A young girl with the world at her feet.
Yes.
Helen's life changed dramatically when she met Adam Taylor, a local concreter and tiler.
That's the age Helen was when he first met her.
Helen was just 16 when she first had sex with Taylor. In Tasmania, the age of consent is 17, which means Taylor, 31 at the time, was having sex with an underage girl.
Again, she seems so young in this photo.
She's really young.
She's a girl.
Helen was smitten. But her mother wasn't happy and tried to have Taylor charged with underage sex.
Helen hadn't been out a lot. Like, she wasn't a worldly person. She was a child. She's still at school. And he knew that. I told him that.
Many of Helen's close-knit circle were also suspicious of her much older lover, including her best friend, Belinda Rasmussen.
He's not a very nice man. Didn't like him when I first met him, and then like that happens, you know. You know, like how you get like that funny feeling like in your stomach, like when you don't like someone or something. Yeah, that's what I had with him.
Behind the smiles, Helen admitted there was a darker side to the relationship.
Was Adam Taylor ever violent towards Helen?
Yes, he choked her, and she come running down to my place, saying, yeah, that he choked her and smashed her into the wall and all the rest of it.
How many times would this have happened?
She told me it had happened a few times beforehand, but this was actually the first time when she'd actually come down, like, to my place, like, as soon as it happened.
You looked up to her?
Yeah.
Helen also told her younger sister, Catherine, about Adam's violent attacks.
What did she say?
That he used to get her, like, by the neck sometimes and, yeah, things like that.
She told you that he grabbed her by the throat?
Yeah, just an angry person.
And what did you think about him, Taylor?
I thought he was, like, the biggest arsehole on earth, to be honest, and I still think that to this day.
But Adam Taylor was also leading a double life. He was already in a long-term relationship with another woman, Carolina Garwood, also known as Kaz. They lived together with their 2 young sons in this secluded house on the seafront a few kilometres from Burnie. But Taylor kept Helen dangling.
And she saw a future with him, do you think?
Yeah, because he also said that he was going to leave, like, the girlfriend. I didn't think so, but yeah, she did.
When Helen became pregnant not long after her 17th birthday, Adam Taylor initially denied the child was his.
He was even denying even knowing Helen till the DNA test proved that he was the father of the child. I mean, telling everyone face to face, look, it's just a little girl, I don't know, I've had nothing to do with Helen. Right up till the results got back.
Helen Munnings became a doting mother, a good mother. But Adam Taylor decided he wanted to share custody, a backflip that fueled an already volatile relationship.
He went from being nice to violent very quickly. There was no in between.
Helen's cousin, Chris, witnessed one incident firsthand.
I took Helen out to his house. And basically a fight between Adam and Helen broke out, and Adam tried to get Helen back in the car. He did that by holding her down by the throat, pushing her in the car as hard as he could. I was screaming at him to stop and to leave Helen alone, and in the end he just slammed the door on her and I took off.
A violent man.
If something he didn't like, he changed. He just snapped.
But despite the lies and the violence, Helen was still besotted by Adam Taylor and continued to see him.
Do you think he loved her back?
No. I think he loved the control he had over her and the way he could manipulate her, but I think that's as far as it goes. He loved the power.
Well, it's not a good look, is it? A 31-year-old with a 16-year-old girl.
What of the story, mate?
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Well, can we organise a time to talk more about it?
Probably could, yeah.
Yeah?
Not like this. Give me a call.
What's your number? Can we get your number?
Adam Taylor kept up a secret relationship with Helen using a separate mobile phone he kept hidden from Kaz, his de facto partner.
I'll talk to you later.
Adam Taylor was maintaining up towards the end still that he was going to leave Kaz and be with Helen and her child And that's what kept Helen hoping. But then he had Kaz in the other place claiming that he's having nothing to do with Helen. So he was playing both camps.
Then, in July 2008, Helen discovered she was pregnant again. Adam Taylor paid for the test. A few days later, she and Adam Taylor arranged to meet secretly at the South Burnie Park.
I remember seeing her go down towards the laneway, like near my mum's house up the road. And yeah, that was the last time I seen her.
This CCTV footage captured Helen walking past the Centrelink office in Burnie.
It then shows who we believe to be Mr Taylor's vehicle, a utility.
So this is Adam's ute coming past?
Same type of vehicle, that's it there.
The white tray type vehicle?
Yep.
Detective Inspector Rob Gunton has been leading a re-investigation into Helen's disappearance.
Picked her up on that road at 22 minutes past 4, heading out of Burnie?
Heading out of Burnie, yes.
Right.
According to Adam Taylor, he and Helen went for a drive in the hills behind Burnie to talk about her pregnancy. He says she confessed it was the result of a one-night stand with an unidentified man.
It's bushland. It's tree plantations and farmland.
And lots of smaller roads off that main road?
There are.
Lots of roads that he could well have gone down?
Yes, absolutely.
Taylor says he then dropped Helen on the highway back at Burnie because she wanted to go for a walk to clear her head.
He says she wanted to go for a walk on the beach.
Oh, yeah, not a lie.
She wouldn't do that?
No. Not in winter. She only had a little top on.
Adam's story that he dropped Helen off that night, do you believe it?
No, not at all. There's no way that she would be walking, like, anywhere in the dark. You know, I've known Helen since grade 7. There's no way that she would ever do that. She wouldn't be getting dropped off to some random place, not if she had to walk, like, you know what I mean? Like, just none of it. None of it makes sense.
None of it's true in your eyes?
No, it's not. It's like bullshit.
When 20-year-old Helen Munnings went missing from Burnie in Tasmania 10 years ago, police went to her ex-boyfriend, Adam Taylor, for answers.
You've got to wonder why you're still a suspect?
Well, because I was the last person to see her.
Taylor had taken Helen for a drive that day, but says he dropped her off just outside Burnie because she wanted to take a walk along the beach.
If Adam Taylor did drop Helen off here on the edge of the busy Bass Highway, no one saw it. No one saw Helen walking along the beach either. In fact, no one ever saw Helen anywhere, ever again.
On Adam Taylor's version of events, after dropping Helen off, he heads back home along the coast to nearby Heybridge. By the time Taylor arrives at his house on the seafront, sometime after 6 p.m,
come guys, time for bed.
His live-in partner, Kaz, is getting the kids ready for bed. Kaz declined to be interviewed for this program, but gave a detailed account to police of what happened next. Taylor kept a boat on the beach outside his house, and he tells Kaz that someone has moved it down to the water's edge.
Hey, someone's trying to steal the boat.
Even though Kaz had walked past it only an hour before and seen nothing amiss. He tells Kaz he's going to drag it back up the beach. Instead, Taylor walks the boat out into deeper water, jumps in and heads into the Bass Strait, through the channel in front of the house. He will later claim he simply wanted to test the motor to see if it still worked.
Does it seem odd to you that he would take his boat out that night of all nights after Helen's disappearance?
It's unusual, yes.
Yeah.
Later that night, Kaz sees Taylor outside in the dark. moving between the 3 vehicles parked there. His mother's flat tray ute, his own Pajero, and a white Mitsubishi van on loan from Kaz's father. Next morning, Taylor hooks his dinghy and trailer up to the Pajero and drives to Kaz's father's house.
Well, he says that he took the boat there because he thought someone else tried to steal it the previous evening. So he wanted to store it at Mr. Garwood's place.
But just 3 days later, Taylor brings the boat back.
Could it have been cleaned in that time? Thoroughly cleaned?
Well, anything's possible at that time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Helen's family have reported her missing and a search is underway in dense bushland, rivers, lakes and off the coast.
We are investigating the possibility of murder as part of the missing persons investigation.
Once again, as Adam Taylor had done with Helen's first pregnancy, he denied he was the father of her unborn child. He also told police he was not having a sexual relationship with Helen. But that's not what Helen told her best friend, Belinda Rasmussen.
Did she tell you she was pregnant?
Yes. She told me that she was pregnant to Adam Taylor and that he was the one that took her for the test and all the rest of it.
So he was the father?
Yeah, and he knew it as well. Else he wouldn't have taken her, obviously, for the test.
How did Helen know that Adam Taylor was the father?
She's never slept with anybody else.
No one-night stands?
No, she was not interested in anybody, like, ever since she actually met him.
And recovered text messages sent by Helen to Adam, most much more explicit than these, strongly suggest the couple was still in a sexual relationship. We don't know how Adam Taylor responded because he deleted almost all his answers. We do know he sent her a photograph of his penis.
Alana, Adam Taylor denies he was in a sexual relationship with Helen in the weeks and months leading up to her disappearance. Your reaction says it all.
Yeah, he can deny as much as he likes he was.
Shortly before Helen disappeared, family friends Anthony and Alana Kelly had dropped by her house to lend her a suitcase.
As I knocked on the door, I noticed from the frosted glass Helen come out of one of the bedrooms.
Quickly pulling clothing on.
And Adam came out of the same room and he was pulling clothes on himself at the same time, so...
They were clearly still in a sexual relationship?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
So what did Helen say to you after that incident?
She was in tears, begging us, please, don't tell anyone. You can't tell anyone. But yeah, she was, wasn't she? She was hysterical, bawling her eyes out.
What was she so afraid of?
Adam's insistence on keeping the relationship secret. He was big on it. Absolutely huge on it.
Helen was 2 months pregnant when she disappeared, and her texts to Adam make it clear she was refusing to have an abortion.
He was trying to preserve his relationship with Kaz. I'm positive that if Kaz found out that he had got Helen pregnant again, she would leave him because he told Kaz that he was having no further contact with Helen.
Helen was a problem in his life?
Yes. Once it was proven that Helen was pregnant, he was the father, he knew that Kaz would leave him.
Adam Taylor gave different versions to police of the route he says he took that day, but his account doesn't add up. From the time they left Burnie together to the time he arrived home alone was at least an hour and 40 minutes. But does the drive actually take that long?
We're going to test Adam Taylor's story by driving the route he says he took that day. Now, I'm going to start here, where Taylor says he picked Helen up in central Burnie. Now, Taylor says he was driving under the speed limit, just chatting to Helen, and says he didn't stop along the way. Let's find out.
The road takes me south for about 30 kilometres. Then back towards Burnie on another road.
Here we are back at the old mill, the spot where Adam Taylor says he dropped Helen off that night. Now, that trip took just on an hour, which leaves about 30 to 40 minutes unaccounted for, and a big hole in Adam Taylor's story.
Were there any sightings of Adam and Helen on that journey on that day?
No, not on that journey. Not on the journey that he indicated, no.
As police begin to dig into Taylor's past, they discover it's not just Helen who's been on the receiving end of Adam Taylor's violent outbursts.
I'm leaving. Please just let me go.
Not leaving.
A previous girlfriend claims he held a knife to her throat and pushed her down a flight of stairs in a fit of anger. And Adam Taylor's de facto partner, Kaz, reveals he grabbed her by the throat with both hands during an argument, just a few weeks before Helen disappeared.
Certainly demonstrates someone with a propensity towards violence, yes.
Violence towards women?
Well, those instances we've just spoken about would indicate that, yeah.
20-year-old Helen Munnings disappeared from Burnie in Tasmania's northwest a decade ago. She was last seen alive getting into the car of her much older ex-boyfriend, Adam Taylor, a local tiler and concreter. Taylor says he dropped her on the road outside town, in the dark, so she could walk along the beach. She was never seen again. No one has ever been charged over her disappearance.
Adam Taylor?
And Taylor has never been charged with underage sex, even though Helen and her mother had reported it years before her death.
Adam was 31 years old when he started having sexual relations with Helen. She was 16.
That's correct.
Why was he never charged with having sex with an underage girl?
The file was prepared for the DPP. It was investigated. The matter was referred to the Director of Public Prosecutions. And on advice from that office, no proceedings were taken.
Why not?
There was, from my memory, it was because could have been a reasonable belief that Mr. Taylor believes she was 17 at the time.
But Adam Taylor admitted at the inquest into Helen's disappearance that he knew she was 16, and he could hardly deny it.
He gave Helen an expensive Roxy watch for her 16th birthday.
That one there?
Yeah. Yet on record, he was still denying even knowing Helen. Yet he knew it was her 16th birthday.
And there were other striking errors by investigators. After Helen disappeared, detectives questioned Taylor and noted that he had scratches on his forearm, but the investigators failed to take photos of his injuries.
I have no doubt in my mind that Helen would have fought for her life, and they didn't even bother to take photos of them. Nothing. Like, they didn't believe that he'd done it to start off with, and yeah.
Why were there no photos taken of those scratches?
The scratches were visible in the video interview. As to why there were no actual forensic photos or still photos taken, I don't know. Mr. Taylor indicated that those scratches were as a result of his tiling business. So, yeah, that's as far as I can take that for.
I find that unbelievable that photos wouldn't be taken of scratches on his arms.
Well, again, I can't take it any further than what I've already told you.
Because I've seen the police interview, I've seen the transcript. He talks about them, and then the investigating officer ends the police interview. Is that gross negligence, or am I...?
No, certainly not gross negligence, and the interview was ended because Mr. Taylor felt faint and, in fact, almost collapsed.
Mm. But do you admit that photos should have been taken of those scratches?
In the normal course of proceedings, yes, photographs would be taken.
Mm.
It's obviously been an oversight at the time.
Yeah.
In another remarkable omission, police failed to search Adam Taylor's house for more than a year after Helen went missing.
What took so long?
Look, I can't answer that question for you. It was my understanding that it was earlier than that, but if it was a year later, it was a year later. But
why would it take a year to search his house?
On my reading of the file and on the investigative evidence, or the evidence that was available, his house itself was of little to no forensic value to us.
That's not all. When Adam Taylor's live-in partner Kaz was interviewed by police 12 months after Helen disappeared, she revealed that Adam had been driving her father's van during this period, and that Adam Taylor was moving between it and the other cars outside his house on the night Helen disappeared.
The white Mitsubishi van that was parked at Taylor's house, was that forensically searched?
No, it wasn't.
Why not?
Again, it was of no forensic value to us at that point.
Could that not have been used, though, to transport a body?
I would suggest not. Not in the circumstances as we understand them, and not in the circumstances as the evidence presents.
A year's a long time. Could crucial evidence have gone missing during that time?
From where?
Well, the house, the van, these places that weren't searched or forensically tested.
Not to my mind, no. Not in the circumstances as we know them.
No one has ever been charged over the disappearance of this young, pregnant mum. A coroner investigating what happened to Helen found that she was dead, but there was no evidence to justify a finding that another person contributed to her death.
But it was the evidence Adam Taylor gave at the inquest that really angered Helen's family. Not only did he deny Helen was pregnant to him, he said that he only slept with her because she blackmailed him into it, threatening to tell the police he'd done so while she was underage. As if that wasn't enough. He then said he didn't find Helen attractive and had to force himself to have sex with her. For her grieving family, this was just another pathetic excuse. Adam Taylor was treating Helen with contempt, even in death.
Every time I see him, I just, feel sick and need to say something to him for Helen. He drives past, he leans over and waves at me and smirks. Yeah. It's almost as if he's enjoying it.
What's this done to your family?
Oh, it shattered it. It takes a lot out of you. To hate someone so much, you know. And then you have to see him.
Adam Taylor still lives just outside Burnie.
Adam Taylor, Alex Cullen from the Sunday Night program on
And that's where we caught up with him.
Some questions to ask you about your ex-lover, Helen Munnings.
Adam Taylor was the last person to see his pregnant ex-lover alive. He claims he dropped Helen Munnings off at this beach so she could go for a walk and clear her head.
Is Adam Taylor still a suspect?
Adam Taylor remains a person of interest, yes.
Police continue to investigate Helen's disappearance. And, along with Helen's family, they suspect Taylor knows more than he's saying.
Adam Taylor, Alex Cullen from the Sunday Night program on Channel 7. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate.
Just got some questions to ask you about your ex-lover, Helen Munnings. Wonder if you knew any more that you could tell the police? Any more information at all?
No, not at all.
Okay, I just wondered, just a couple of questions for you. You know, why you took your boat out that night? the day she disappeared.
I'm not going to do any of this.
What's that, sorry?
She could have approached me, but
Well, we can still have a chat. I mean, we can talk about what happened to her. Do you have any more information at all? Do you know what might have happened to her?
not like this, mate, no.
Do you know where she's gone? Anything you want to say to the family, Adam? Anything you want to say to Helen's family at all? Anything you want to say to her family, Helen's family?
Adam Taylor may have been hoping for a quick escape, but he hadn't counted on the alcohol interlock device fitted to his car.
Do you know anything about her disappearance at all? You can wind the window down and talk to us. We're just here. Anything you want to say at all?
Mate, everyone misses her as much as their family. That's the thing. This is the thing that gets me. I mean, obviously, this is taking me on the hop.
Do you understand you're still unsuspect?
Well, everyone, I know all of that, yes.
Yeah. Does that concern you?
Well, of course it does.
Right.
And it concerns me, it concerns my boy, it concerns my whole family, everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's a horrible, touchy situation.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, this is very confronting doing something like this to me. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
What do you know of her disappearance? What can you tell us? What was she like that day?
Nothing more than you'd read in the coroner's report. So,
Right.
I mean, everything I've ever said was all in the coroner's report.
You were the last person to see her alive?
Well, I believe so, yes.
Right. Right. Police believe that as well?
I wouldn't have a clue what the police believe, mate.
You've got to wonder why you're still unsuspect.
Not because I'm the last person to see her. That's
Yeah.
the only thing. I mean, you go over and over the same questions forever, but at the end of the day, mate, I know where I stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to ask you straight out. Did you kill Helen Munnings?
Of course not.
You have nothing to do with her death?
No. It upsets me that people keep asking and carrying on about this. But anyway, I've got a bit on. I'm going to keep it.
You accept that it was... Well, it's not a good look, is it? A 31-year-old with a 16-year-old girl.
What of the story, mate?
Is there?
Yes.
Well, can we organise a time to talk more about it?
Probably could, yeah.
Yeah?
Not give me a call.
What's your number? Can we get your number? Why did you take your boat out that night, though, Adam?
I didn't, mate. It was in the water. I'm not going to... Don't even start asking me questions, mate.
Well, these are questions that the family wants answered, and I'm asking them on their behalf.
Go have a chat with the family, mate.
We will.
Her mum's a psychopath.
Well, she claims that you grabbed Helen around the throat and forced her into a car and slammed the car door on her.
Her mum's a psycho, mate. Yeah. Anyway, good luck.
We tried to arrange to speak further with Adam Taylor. He refused. It doesn't surprise Helen's mother, Carol, who now spends her days poring over thousands of police and court documents and doing the work that she believes investigators should have done in the first place. And she's paid a high price for pursuing justice for her daughter. Helen's little boy now lives with Taylor's mother, and Carol has not been allowed contact with her own grandson.
How often have you seen him in the last 9 years?
Once.
That was the only time?
Yeah, it's nuts. It really is, because I've got very little rights, really.
Now, on the 10th anniversary of Helen's disappearance, her family isn't giving up hope that someone will come forward with the piece of evidence to close the case and allow them to lay Helen to rest.
So what now?
I don't know, just wait for karma. Hopefully somebody might be watching this program and they know something.
If you have any information that can help identify Helen's killer, please contact Crime Stoppers.